9 times out of 10, they can't answer it.
10 of these startups, all 10 lost money. Today, we're going to talk about the 9 red flags early stage startup investors should avoid. The story was I invested as an angel, wanted to invest in tech, didn't have the connection, didn't have the know-how, didn't have a mentor, of course. I saw these companies, I thought they were great ideas, which is probably one of the red flags. And I thought, I like the founders, they seem okay, wrote them a check. So at that time, I invested in 10 of these startups and all 10 lost money. So hopefully I would help you to not have to make the same mistakes that I made today. So Ivan shared with us what are some of those red flags that we see nowadays as a pro that hopefully any investors should avoid.
So red flag number 1, it's always about the team and never ever about the idea. So anybody that invests in the idea is going to lose because that idea is going to morph with time. It's going to change with time. It's going to be copied. It's going to be replicated. You need a team that can handle that, the team that can evolve, the team that can execute, the team that can compete. So number 2 is one of the secret questions that I use. I simply ask this question. What is the problem you're solving for? And 9 times out of 10, they can't answer it. They keep talking about what the solution does. And the reason that's such a big deal is if you don't know what is the problem you're solving for, then you don't know who you're solving it for and how you acquire that customer. Number 3, when I ask entrepreneurs specific questions and they give me these long-winded answers that don't answer anything,
Lack of clarity.
I walk. Because that means either they don't want to answer it or they don't know what the answers are or they haven't thought about it. We need clarity. We need people that are concise, that answer the questions. If they don't know, say, I don't know, I haven't thought about it, I'll get back to you. But we need clarity. Number 4 is if we find that they're unable to build rapport. That means they're not good salespeople. And the job of the entrepreneur is, number 1, to be the biggest evangelist and the salesperson for the company. And if they cannot build rapport with me, they can't do that. That means they cannot raise capital. They cannot hire people. So I meet with an entrepreneur and I say, well, tell me about yourself. And they immediately say, let me show you my deck. And I close it and I say, I don't want to see your deck. Just tell me. And they insist on using the deck, at which point I say, it's been a pleasure. I get up and I leave.
Means they cannot have a simple conversation.
If they cannot have
connect
that
with people. They have a tough time raising money. They have a tough time recruiting. They have a tough time selling.
Next one, number 6, unit economics. I ask them very basic questions. What are the key unit economics you run your business by? And if they talk around it and they go by sales and the market conditions and this, that, you know that they haven't thought it through. Every business can be boiled down to a set of unit economics, whether it's the average contract value, whether it's sales cycle, onboarding, frequency of purchase, your customer acquisition, whatever it is, unit economics. I am not looking for financials. And if they insist on showing me the financial projections, I know they're not the right team for me because in the seed and early stages, you don't have any financial projections. You're just guessing. Number 7 is the ones that are valuation sensitive and dilution sensitive. I don't want to give up a lot of my company. That's the kiss of death. Nobody wants the entrepreneurs to be left with very little of the company. That is a fallacy. My job as a fund manager is to make sure they keep enough of their company to not only be incented, but so that as they grow the company, they can continue to raise money. They need to be focused on creating value versus being valuation sensitive. Number 8, it's a $1 billion market and we just have to capture 10% of it.
A tiny percentage would make us X.
That's the wrong view. The right way of approaching it is my average contract is X dollars, my customer acquisition cost is Y, and an average year 1, year 2, year 3, I'll be able to acquire so many of these customers, and that's the revenue that I get. Number 9, we're going to be selling this company to Facebook in 3 years for $500 million.
I cringe.
If they're talking about an exit strategy
before
they've built anything, they're the wrong. We need people that are there to build a company that is going to be sustaining itself and continuing to exist and endure. The job of the entrepreneur is to make a company that's going to last and grow and be able to. I don't want them to be thinking about an exit strategy because good companies aren't sold, they're bought. I hope it makes sense, and thank you for listening.
Until next time,
happy unicorn hunting.
We appreciate you joining us for this episode of $1 Billion Startup. Be sure to rate, review, and subscribe to the show. And visit DragonX.com for more resources based on today's topic, as well as for access to previous episodes. That's DragonX.com. Thank you for listening.